Hi guys, I'm Max. Last day I published on Facebook and Twitter this video where I take some piece of geometry and snap onto another surface, and you see that the copied geometry follows uh, the shape underneath. How does it work? It's pretty simple, and probably most of you already knows how does it work. But anyway, I'm gonna make this tutorial for the other that doesn't know. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, you need a piece of geometry. This piece of geometry should be uh, frozen freeze, I say that, at scale and location. That means that uh, the bottom of the geometry that you want to project uh, are basically at the same point of the origin of the object, you see? So if it's not that, make sure that you fix it before continue to the other steps. So basically now if I create another piece of geometry like this one, um, I can snap it using those options here, you see, and it kind of works, but the result is still very different from what I got in the video that I posted yesterday. So go back to the original spaces and rotation and blah blah blah, and what we have to do. First of all, I usually extrude and scale a little bit and turn off the snap. Extrude and scale a little bit. Okay, so you have this new edge loop here, and I add a simple bevel here, and maybe adding a little bit of subdivision. So the next step is create a vertex group, selecting the external loop of the geometry. So Ctrl G to make another group and rename it like a shrink wrap, because shrink wrap is one of the modifiers we're gonna use. Assign, it's already assigned. Then I select the next loop and I put something like 0.8, assign it, 0.6 and assign, 0.4 and assign, and 0.2 and assign it. So if you switch to white paint, you see that you have this fading here. The fading represents the influence of these vertex groups to the loops that I selected before. So now if I make a copy of the mesh and I add, yes, I have the bevel modifier here, I can keep it. I can add the shrink wrap now, select the geometry and select of course the vertex group, and now you see that I moved the geometry on the surface, and just the loops with some certain level of influence going to be snapped on the surface. So the next step is of course add a data transfer modifier, so adding the same the shrink wrap vertex group property, face color, face corner or something, sorry, and custom normals, and then I select the mesh. Okay, this is done, and now you see that you don't see the seam between the two meshes. It's simple as it. Okay, notice that the top of the mesh is still is not being deformed. Keep keep the shape, and if you work with other modifier like lattice or surface deform, the top of the shape here gonna be modified. If you give me 2 minutes, I show you how. But first, you notice that with one single geometry with the modifiers here, I can just duplicate the mesh, and that's it, you know. I mean, you don't have other modifiers, you don't have I mean, you don't have other geometries like lattice or other base surface geometry to follow, so it's simply as simple as it. So you can just duplicate and snap again, and you have your geometry already in place, you see. So I guess that if you put under your mesh another mesh like this one at 0 as before, and you make the original mesh to be deformed by the new grid mesh, I guess that now I can move and I parent this mesh with this one, Ctrl P object. Okay, so if I move the mesh, my previous mesh gonna be stick together, move together with the plane. So you just grab and move, and now with this mesh selected, I just shrink wrap. Okay, and now you see that the mesh is going to be modified. Okay, and now with this one selected, I add my data transfer, face data no, face corner data yes, custom normal, with the shrink wrap vertices assigned. Okay, maybe I can make it wire, so okay. And now you see now. So now if you wanna duplicate this object, the deformed object, in another place on the surface, you can't just duplicate it, you know, because it's still parented with the grid, the deformer grid. So you have basically you have to copy both. You have to select this one and this one, duplicate, and now you have to resnap to the surface, you see. And Blender is smart enough to understand that the copy and the new mesh are the same, they're working together. I mean, it updates the hierarchy, so the parent and the child. So, but I'm not big fan of this method, because you have more objects, you have the grid, you have this, and also for hard surfaces, I think you want to keep as much as the original details. I mean, I don't really like this deforming thing here. I mean, sometimes maybe you want it, sometimes you don't. So the good thing is that actually you can choose what fits for you. I mean, if you need that the geometry will be deformed with the grid, you can work in that way. If you're not, you can stay still on the method that I show you in the first place. So it's basically up to you. So hope this help, and good luck. Bye.